So what I want to have happen in the next 30 minutes, it's about 11:30, 11:40, is I'd like everyone to upload their 12 thumbnail sketches to the assignment, or you can email them to me, whatever you feel like. Um, and then I want to have a discussion with you about it. Okay. If I don't get to you today in class, I will just leave you comments or respond to your email or whatever. It's just so that we have some sort of review of that today, and then you can go on with your 6 ideas. Okay. Normally, this would happen in class, me just coming around and chatting with you, and we're going to do it this way. To get this. Okay, great. 2 people submitted already. So yeah, so spend the next 30 minutes either doing them or finishing up a little bit. Add some notes to make them clearer, maybe. Whatever you think. If you have questions about whether or not it's going to be enough, it's not that big of a deal because I'm going to ask a lot of questions, and these really are just thumbnail sketches. Okay. Um, so if you haven't started it, start busting out some ideas. Multifunction furniture. What? I haven't started yet. All right, bust out some ideas. Today's the 8th, so we have what? 13 more days to work on this until the critique is due. Okay. And the critique are the 6 ideas. So we're going to pair these 12 and 50%. We're going to cull half of them. And then you're going to refine the other 6 that we choose for critique. And then from critique, there'll be 1 that you have to finish and make like a poster presentation kind of thing for. Okay. You don't actually have to present it, but you will have to have it finished. All right. Let's see here. Well, I know I got your. I know I got all the comments back really late for the storyboards. So if you want to take extra time to turn in storyboards, feel free. I'm not going to count anything late for about a week. Okay, so you can have a slight extension on the submitting the final to take into account my feedback. I'm not going to change the due date on the assignment. I'm just not going to mark it late if you get it turned in within the next week.
The middle version of the storyboard?
The final version of the storyboard, yeah. Not the critique version. Yeah. But everybody should have comments now. If you didn't get comments from me, let me know. I'm pretty sure I got to everybody. It's IKEA habits multifunctional. It's always a sofa or a bed. That's like storage too. Yeah. Pops open like that. It should be under the, oh, you know what? I don't think I published the grades for it. That's why. Yeah. Let me do that. Sorry. I'm doing something different with grades this semester, and that's making them hidden by default until I feel like making them visible. All right. I'm gonna have to do this differently. I'm talking about it. Grace, are you okay with it? Yeah? Okay. Great. Okay. Drawer stairs. Cool. That's definitely useful. What do you think are the 3 transformations here?
So there's the regular drawers, like
right.
There's when it's folded up, so drawers, folding up upstairs.
Okay. Yeah. What two of those transformations are pretty much the same, right? Two of those states. So one static state is completely closed. The other static state is with the drawers open to be steps. And I guess you're counting the third as being open but to get to close as storage. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. What do you consider the primary function of the closed state, the completely closed state?
Just keeping things organized in one.
Okay. What if you were to make it so that the top lid can extend up, like has a second layer that can telescope into the first, right? It comes up so that it's at a height where it can be a in table, like a nightstand kind of thing. Or you could make it wider if it's sitting at the foot of the bed, make it wider so it's more like a chest, right? But I feel like it needs to have slightly more function than just as an organizational thing, right? Because then it's essentially a shelf, I guess. It's a very static kind of state. And I think what I'm looking for is more just something a little more dynamic. I don't know. I say that, and now I'm kind of. Yeah, if that's its rest state, like completely closed, like that. If it can be used as something in this state, other than just like it's a box, like it's holding stuff, right? I get that that's a use, but it feels like it needs a slightly more active use. Um, then I'm okay with it that closed state being one of its states, but it needs to be something about that, right? You don't have to do this, but a lot of times I see students put in things like wireless charging, like so there's an induction pad on it or something like that, right? Maybe there's a tray for jewelry. I don't know. Like, what's a need that you think you might have for a nightstand or something? Like, if you had this in your bedroom and your bed was 3 feet off the ground, why would you need this and what would you want it to accomplish, right?
One of the issues I was having, I wanted to add this to it, but I didn't actually the function of it upstairs.
Right.
Don't want to trip on it.
Right. I think the being able to pull it out and in makes a lot of sense for those stairs. It might even be a thing where you can't pull that second drawer. We'll see. And here's something about this. Like, does this second middle drawer come out as far as that one, or does it only come out halfway?
It can't come out like the whole way, but it locks like halfway.
And maybe there's a lever or something you have to then squeeze and then pull to get it to go all the way. Okay. Does it have then a lid that's segmented in two?
I haven't thought that.
Okay, I would think about that because it would be useful to be able to open the lid all the way, if it's the length of the drawer, but it also needs to be firm enough that it's that step. And then if you're only pulling it out halfway, then that lid also needs to open in the middle as well. So indicate that in the drawing, maybe, like indicate that there's still half a drawer here, and then a note about how it could get pulled out, right? So steps, drawers, I like this solution of that opening as well. So if that opens, you don't really want to put stuff on top of it because then you can't get to it. So it can't really work as a nightstand. I'm a little stuck on how to think of like a third use for it. I know organization. I'm wrestling with myself because I'm like, why can't organization just be one of its uses? it's like a chest of drawers, right? Like a chest opens from the top, so you don't usually want to put stuff on it. People always do put stuff on it, or they sit on it. Maybe you can sit on it. Maybe make it a little wider, and then it's a chair for like putting shoes on and stuff. I don't know. You can think about it that way. Right. So if you maybe you have to pull the first step out in order to be able to sit down to like get dressed. Which I mean that's not a bad thing, right? I think if you add something like that, you know that it would be useful as a place to sit down to get your socks on and get dressed, you know, put your shoes on and things. Then I would be a little more favor like I would view it a little more favorably for sure. Cool. Okay. And if you guys have thoughts on anything that we talk about in class, like your peers' work as well, feel free to jump in. Okay, it's not just me and her. You know, all ideas are valid. If you think one of my ideas is complete bullshit, say so. It's like, no, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Yeah.
I guess I don't really understand why organization organization can't be like a good function of like
Right.
because well like when we watch that space
Mm-hmm.
like organization for that was like one of the key aspects. Like they had to find ways to fit stuff in small areas.
Absolutely.
Like,
I think my hesitation towards considering organization okay, I'm not going to say it's not a state. I definitely won't say that because it obviously is a state.
you just want something.
I want something that is a little more creative than a box.
Yeah.
Right? Or a bag, right? Like I feel like that is like the most fundamental human invention is something to carry other things. Right? I guess the tool then, because you got to have the thing first and then you have to have the thing to carry the things. It's another hand. I mean, a bag is a stand-in for hands, right? Or two hands, or whatever, right? So it's a very fundamental kind of human tool. What I want is just something a little more creative. Like that can be part of it, and you can definitely turn that in. And I'm not going to discount it, right? But I'm going to leave you comments like, I think you probably could have come up with something a little bit better than a bag. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's where my hesitation comes from. But thanks for bringing that up. Anybody else have any thoughts? No? Okay. Oh, cool. All right.
I think there might be some like very like organizing. That was my
Yeah. And that's totally fine. Like, organization is one of those things. I mean, there are entire industries devoted to people helping people organize their things, right? It's very human. We always end up with way too much stuff, and then we need to know where to put the stuff and how to keep it from overwhelming us. So that's totally fine. What are these side panels here?
that was me messing with add like a bag to the side of it.
Oh, yeah. What's this right here?
That was gonna be a rocking chair. Chair and have the one on the bottom there.
Gotcha. Oh, right. They have the little swivel. Do you guys find those things useful?
Not at all.
No. So that's the danger of like furniture that's too specifically designed. Right? They can't get rid of it because they bought them and they need chairs, but then they're like the most unusable things.
I wanted to add storage to them. There's so little like desk space there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, under the seat is that's a very, I mean, that's like, when I was in school, we used to have baskets under our desks. I don't know if you guys remember that, like in grade school, right? And, or even high school, I think. Yeah, high school had the desk here, and then there was always like a basket underneath there for books and stuff. That was pretty useful. But a tray makes a lot of sense. Does it make sense in the context, like, so it seems like this would be most useful if it was a seat you always got to use, like that was your seat, right? So think about the context, right? Like, do you want this to replace the desk or the seats that are in the humanities, or do you see this as being more of like a personal solution when you're at home?
Kind of a personal solution and something if the university.
Mm, okay. I like the identification of the humanities desks as being your problem, right? That you're trying to solve, or not even solve that specific problem, but to decide, is there a better way we could do this, right? Does this chair have to be here? Does it have to exist? Um, Maybe take as one of your constraints that yes, this chair has to exist. Um, how would you change that chair? You've done that kind of with the second one. You know, how do you change that chair to make it more useful? Um, I like the idea of the. So is the back sort of sliding around and then
Yeah.
yeah?
It's right around and then fold.
Okay. Do you think how often during an hour and a half lecture do you want to like lean back on something?
Fairly often.
Right? So maybe it's an attachment to the back, right? Like it's part of the back, but there's still a bit of back that stays there and it just slides over. Do you find that circular shape that they have useful?
Not terrible.
Yeah.
It's just inconvenient inside.
What would be the most, what do you think would be a more practical size, right? And then also a more practical shape?
Really, I think ideal is just, I don't know, a 10 by 12. That's about like
Uh-huh.
the notebook on one.
Nice. I would redesign that to incorporate those ideas, but also then try to think about how, if it can be a thing where, and I don't care if these desks actually do this, like if you can take off the existing back and add a new back that is then your two-part back that can slide and become part of the desk, slide over and pop down. Think about like, look at those chairs and then think about how that would work. Maybe take some pictures of the chairs for reference, right? I like the idea of this one going a little further because I think this is a really good solution. It has a very clear, it has a clear problem, and I feel like it has clear constraints, which will help you be more creative in your solution. Make sense? Cool. I'd like to see number 3 developed more, for sure. All right. Desk lamp with fan, floor lamp with fan. Oh, yeah. Okay. Is this to move heat around or just air?
When I talked to my roommates for ideas, and one of them, he wanted a fan that would like blow like would have to
Uh-huh.
have kind of where there's also the circulating air like
Right.
don't just kind of a
Yeah, no, it's great. Um, yeah, I think that would work, right? Like, because you have those little personal fans that people. I mean, the distance, the effective distance is pretty short, but then that's what kind of what you'd want with this. I really like the idea of it being the lampshade and then it opening, right? Like you have in that first one. I like the idea of the floor lamp doing that too, but I almost want you to keep that idea of it being the lampshade and the lampshade unfolds. I think that's really clever. And then it doesn't look like this is just a fan glued onto the back of a lamp. Does that make sense? Okay. So it's a lamp, it's a fan. What's its third state?
yeah.
Oh, it's a lampshade. Well, but that's part of being a lamp, right? It's a lamp and a fan.
I could my gut instinct when I read the third thing, oh, I can add like a pocket.
Right. Right.
That wouldn't exactly work.
Yeah, maybe think about it some more. I think this is promising, but it definitely needs a third. Are those? Oh, adjustment knobs. Okay. Oh, so I'll tell you what I've seen in the past. When people get stuck with like the third state, they start adding like USB ports, which I think is the most SkyMall thing to do. You know, like everything in SkyMall is like this is a shoe but with USB ports. You know, it's like yeah, okay. It's a dry erase marker, but it has a USB port. Um,
How would you feel about a speaker?
Like it's a Bluetooth speaker too?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yes, I would be okay with that. Yeah. Why?
It goes like, especially the floor lamp would go like in a living room,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where like
Sure. Whenever you can have friends over again. Yeah. 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 I think I'd be okay with that. Yeah, that would be okay. Cool. So definitely number 3, definitely number 5/4. I feel like these are two different ideas, or the kind of the same idea, just two variations. 6, table with footrests. Oh, instead of putting your feet on the table. Because isn't the top of the table kind of a footrest?
yeah, but it's like a coffee table, so if you have like a hot drink on there, you
Right.
don't want to.
Gotcha. Does the table then have to be further away?
A little bit, but only
Does-
because like
Does that hinder its usefulness as a place to put a hot drink and reach conveniently?
perhaps.
I'm just thinking, like, these are just the questions I would have if I was presented with this kind of table. Don't take them personally, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, that's cool. Buttons push with the foot. I like that. So they just swing out. Huh. I like it. It's one state. Or I guess 2 states, right? It's coffee table, footrest.
I had an idea after if they could detach and then be like, I can't remember the word, but hot pads, like where you put.
Oh, yeah. What if, too, they could be like a lap board for a laptop? You know what I mean? So you can sit on the couch and have your laptop and not have it burn your lap. And I don't know if you guys sit on your couches with your laptops as often as I do, but yeah. My favorite, I have this board that is a laptop board for sitting on the couch, but then it also has a pull-out tray for the mouse to be, and that is the most useful $15 I have ever spent for this board. And I'm always like, these are great things. I'd love a place on my coffee table to be able to slide it under or something. But I like that idea of being able to, like, coffee table's here, your drink's there, you kick it, it pops out, you can rest your feet. My only question is then, am I doing, like, do I have to be really flexible to reach past my feet to get my coffee? But, yeah, that would be one of my questions. Because usually the coffee table is, like, here, right? And you can just reach and grab it. Maybe you have to take your feet off you don't have to solve every solution, but it's something to think about. Chair with storage. I feel like they make these, don't they? Maybe not. I've seen the chair with the fridge in it. Have you guys seen that? It's also a Sky Mall thing. It's like a recliner, but it has like a little mini fridge inside. Cool. All right, it has 2 states though, right? Maybe it doesn't lend itself as well. These are really good thumbnails, by the way. Like, yeah.
This one might need to.
Well, don't explain it yet. Let me look at it. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I don't get why. How is it open on one side for you to put clothes in it?
The
Oh,
assets where the
right.
panel be.
On which side? Oh, on D. Okay, I see. I got you. But if that's the legs, I mean the drying rack is naturally open on 2 sides anyway, right? So could you then turn it like that, extend it out a little bit, and put the sleeve around it? Like maybe it's got like a little bag that's sewn for its dimensions. And you slide that up over it, and then it's the hamper, right? And then once you do your laundry, you take the sleeve off, unfold it, and then you can dry your clothes. Actually, I think this is really useful. And then even that bracing pole that you would have to have in there, it doesn't take up that much room, so it's not really a big deal. So what's the third state? You got hamper, you got drying rack.
I was considering like it could be bunched up as just like a set of poles in case like whatever reason not travel but moving. Be easy to
Okay. Yeah. 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 A desk with a safe inside. Feels very Bond villain-esque.
one is barely
I know. I'm gonna skip it. I'm gonna say don't do that one. So 3 and 5 for sure. I think 6. Oh, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Maybe 8. I would think that third state through a little bit more though. I'm not sure if bunching it up for storage is really a useful state, right? It's a storage state of the thing itself, but it's not doing anything at that point. It's not helping you with anything. 9, I would just, that's okay. Not every idea has to be great. Couch that becomes a lounge. Oh,
realizing a lot of these things a lot of
right. Okay, so here's something you could do with this to make it into a third state. So it's a couch, it's a lounge, but what if this sofa section, this square right here, detaches and it becomes sort of like an enclosed desk space? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like maybe the top can just come up a little bit. Maybe it's firm enough already. Maybe there's something that comes up and then using like your footrest idea, there's a panel that can slide out and then up and over to make like a solid desk. You know what I mean? Like there can be something, there can be like a slide mechanism. And again, we don't really care how this works. But it slides out. Like it's like if I lift the cushion comes up supported, right? Because it's got to take some weight. So I want it to come up to about here. And then I can slide a full panel out and then hinge it up and over. There's my desk space, right? And then the cushion, the side of it, when it's the lounge, you've got the side that comes to here. Maybe there's something that extends up even further for those little like privacy cubicles like you see in the library, right? Just to give you a little bit of like, maybe it's translucent so you don't feel totally enclosed but still somewhat separate. And that gives you like a focused study area or something. Number 11 is interesting. I like 10. 10 has a lot of promise.
you think at some point could combine
Yeah, I don't think you need to. I feel like they're still separate enough ideas. I think 10 is more promising than 11. Yeah. Because one thing I'll say about like a couch slash love seat is generally you want to sit next to the person, right? If you're like watching a movie. I'm not sure I want a bowl of popcorn between me and the person I'm watching a movie with, but I don't know. Maybe it's not the case. Yeah. There's 2 states. I would be cool with this if you thought of a third state. Okay. I think how you would change this for a third state. You might get more usable mirror space if you just go with a square mirror and then do the lights around it. I'm just thinking in terms of like area. Although I guess the ring light makes more sense for even lighting and stuff, yeah. Which ones do you like the best?
I'm a big fan of like 6.
Mm-hmm.
I like the program. I want to get the number 8 work in my head a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because that's the one I want the most.
You put a lot of thought into this. I can tell from the drawings.
Yeah, those are the four I feel.
Okay. We'll definitely do those four. And then, from the other two that we talked about, like, what was it? 1 and 3. Um, flesh those out and think about like materials and think about your views. You kind of did them. You did a bunch of them here, but most of these are perspective views. So when you're doing you did it up here. When you're doing your front and your side views like this, that's what your front and side views for everything else should look like. They should be very flat, no perspective, more like engineering drawings or something. Okay, cool. All right, these are really good. Yeah, they're great. Katie, you got your stuff submitted, okay?
Yep.
Right? Okay, great. Oh, good. Cool. These are good drawings. Oops. Drawers. Does it indent right here?
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of like um, where it kind of lifts up, if that makes sense. So
Oh, I see.
kind of like a spring.
Uh-huh. Right. Outlets on inside of. Oh, okay. So these are like recessed shelves, and there's outlets in there. Gotcha. And then just drawers on the top.
Yeah.
So explicitly state your 3 states.
So obviously storage is probably the biggest thing out of
Sure.
all of my drawings, but definitely just like the drawer space, so you can use it. I was thinking more like the family room,
Uh-huh.
as kind of like a sofa table or kind of part of the entertainment center, and then the shelves would kind of just like stack up, kind of unfold like an accordion, and that can be used as a bookshelf. Or we know that we have like the electrical picture frames now, so I was kind of thinking
Right.
that when I came up with the outlets on the side.
Cool. Are the outlets like where are the outlets reset like on the edges?
Yeah, it would be on the sides.
Are they accessible from the inside of the shelf or the outside of the shelf?
The inside.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think that works. Let's kind of, and this is for everybody, but let's sort of assume that storage is going to be a part of everything. And to some degree, right? And I don't have an issue with it being one of your states. I would like everyone to try to push a little bit harder. Like, what do you do? Because this design is not like you're going to actively switch between these two major states
Right.
often, right? Because if you collapse it down, then you don't have that middle storage space anymore, so you're not going to store a lot of things on there. Are you thinking it's more for like, hey, a bunch of people have devices to charge, so we'll pop it open and charge devices, or like kind of a temporary thing, and then once they're charged, you can unhook everything and collapse it again?
Yes, I was thinking that it could be just kind of use it as you will, so you don't have to like extend it all the way, so you can have maybe, the top shelves only showing, and then
Gotcha.
if you wanted to.
Okay.
Extend it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that works. All right, number 2, fan. Blades can be used as shelves. Speaker, stereo. So this is like describe what this is to me.
So this was kind of.
Oh, I see. They're separate. I was reading this as like one thing,
Oh,
separate
no,
things.
no.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, the second one is more just kind of an idea on the whim. I don't know, but bottom part, the sides are speakers, and then I've had a house where it was like, you have one stereo for the music and then the other for the movie, Blu-ray.
Okay.
And then, which, now that I come to think of it, why you would put a thing in the middle, not a TV or something like that, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Um,
I love the idea of it being a fan.
very random, but yeah. So the blades would essentially like come off and then become a shelf in the middle. But yeah.
Where do you put the blades when you take them off?
I mean, you can. So it's essentially just like two boards, I guess. So
Is this outdoor shelving? Why do you need a fan?
I don't know. I didn't really think like now that I look at it.
Yeah.
It's very random.
That's okay. I mean, sometimes random ideas are a lot of fun. I'm intrigued by this idea. So you're thinking this is like a wall installation kind of
Yeah,
thing?
kind of.
Okay, like an entertainment center sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fan I don't understand, but it's kind of fun. So it doesn't transform into anything, right? There's no like state change really. No dynamic state change.
Yeah.
Everything is sort of built in and static. It has different uses, but there's no state change, right? If you, and I'm not saying don't use the idea, but think about how you can incorporate state changes to it. So it looks like one thing, it's used for that thing, but it can change into something else and then used for a second use. All the uses don't have to be available at once, right? But it needs to not just be an entertainment center up against the wall.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Chair, panel, hidden shelving, moves up and down. So, so it's just like a door that opens and then there's stuff underneath and there's a chair you can sit on. Okay. Kind of the same issue, right?
Now I'm trying to think about it.
Maybe that door that opens up is then a side table too.
Okay, yeah.
Right? It braces. You have lots of other sides to work with, right? I mean, both sides could totally open, and then you have two tables on either side, but what about like underneath where the feet are? And what about the back of the chair? Because you're giving a lot of room to the back of the chair, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So think about that as well. Not all that has to be storage, but maybe there's some mechanism for it slides down and becomes like a lounge chair or something. Okay. Different, or a bed, right? You have a lot of space to work with. Okay, number 4 is a hideaway bed. I mean, these are, you know what I mean? It's a Murphy bed. You know what a Murphy bed is? A Murphy bed is a bed that folds up into the wall, and then you open up 2 closet doors and it comes back out.
Wow.
No? Okay. My grandmother had a Murphy bed in her house.
I know that one.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time. If you come up with a unique way to approach the Murphy bed, for sure.
Okay.
I'm cool with that. But just as a Murphy bed?
Yeah.
All right. Slightly tinted lampshade that can tilt to become a shelf on a hinge. Oh, so it's like, I got you. The pole.
Yeah.
Got you. That's interesting. So you can put stuff here and put stuff here. Oh. I'd actually be kind of interested in that. I mean, your lamp pole would need to be flat, it'd be wide, right, to make for the shelf. Depending on what it was made out of, I'd actually be kind of interested in something like this. I read a lot. I have a lot of books. I always need shelving. Okay, yeah. Camping cabinet. Oh, it's portable. Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, being in Colorado.
This would use a lot of power.
Yeah, it would, but.
No, it's fine.
Problem.
Being in Colorado.
Yeah, so we've done camping, and we've brought the cooler, the hot plate, stuff like that.
Right,
so
right.
I kind of thought, why not just make one big thing?
Right. Yeah. No, that's great. It's funny that you stick the refrigerating elements on the top. That's actually the most efficient place to put them. It's like over-under refrigerators are more energy efficient than side-by-side refrigerators or fridges with a freezer underneath. I'm trying to remember why that is. Because cold air drops.
Yeah.
So the freezer helps keep the refrigerator at a more constant temperature, and that's the part that's open the most. So that would be something to think about. But I like the idea of the stovetop. You have space over here on these sides, so maybe the stovetop is the full width.
Yeah, I can.
And then think about dimensions, like how big does this need to be? Obviously, it's not
Yeah.
for like backpacking, right?
Right.
Or is it? Does it have backpack straps? Is it portable like that? Do you want to lug it on a hike? That kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
With a fridge, a freezer, outlets, and a stovetop, probably not.
Yeah.
But that's the problem for the engineers to solve, right?
Exactly.
Cool. All right, let's look at this one. Is this to like become a standing desk?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay, these kind of already exist.
Okay.
Think about what makes yours different
Mm-hmm.
and what would make yours unique. The only really transformation is just that this would come up and you could have a standing desk, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it's just a desk,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's still a desk, I guess, at that point too. It's not really,
Yeah.
it's changing. It's becoming a different kind of desk. So needs a little bit more. Bedside tray, full second accordion when not in use. You like accordions. I mean, accordions are good. Top view. Oh, I got you. So it plops out and it's got.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a top view. There you go. So it can get narrow and then you can like pull it out and extend it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, because I kind of have this ongoing problem in my dorm. So I had a bedside, like one of those desks that you put on your closet bed last year.
Yeah.
And then this year I didn't have space for it unless you wanted it jutting out into people walking through the door.
Right.
So, now it's essentially our coffee table by the futon, but I figured like if there's some way to compress it, that maybe it could.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have like space under your futon? Could it be something that instead of compressing horizontally, it compresses down?
I do have a little bit of space, yeah.
I wonder if like maybe that's also a solution. It could compress down and then slide under something. Or do you still want it to be useful as like a narrow side table when it compresses inward? Because that's also, you know what I mean? Like, so my thought about this is that just from a mechanical standpoint, if it accordions out, you would want some sort of like, you still want some sort of rigid segmenting to happen, right? And you need to think about how then you don't have to think about how they fold into it, but if they can fold up and give you kind of a semi-smooth, solid, flat surface, then then it's a nice narrow coffee, like in table, right? And then maybe that part like pops up and then the rest opens up and then it slides down to lock them all into place and it's your wider coffee table.
Okay.
And then the other thing I would think about that is in tables are always taller than coffee tables, right?
Right.
So maybe then it also can come up. And then that becomes your third state. So it's an in table, it's a wide coffee table, it's a wide like dinner table if it's at an in table height, right? It can become like a little dining table. And then it can fold up into a narrow in table or for storage. I think that would work really well. It's a nice idea. TV folds into bookshelf. What is this madness? The TV itself folds?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to her. Yeah, of course.
We have the curving TVs now, so why can't it fold?
We have curved TV. Why can't it fold? I mean, I guess
We
they
have
have that
like the
flexible
camera.
phone, right?
Hmm?
Have you guys seen the flexible phone?
Yeah,
The fold?
that's what I was also thinking of too.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Why not?
So they can make it at that scale. Can they make it bigger?
Sure.
Sure.
Why not? TV, bookshelf. Yeah. What's your third state then? Also, your bookshelf isn't going to be as the same width as the
No,
TV,
right.
right?
Yeah.
It's like this part would fold in and meet halfway, so it'd be narrower. Yeah. Think of a third state. If you want to pursue that one. Zipper store pillows. Oh. Shelf supporting armrest. So these are all shelf spaces.
Essentially, yeah.
When you take the pillows out of the cushions, do the cushions like deflate?
No, and I actually meant to write that in too. So like, there's already a layer of like this couch cushion then underneath.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Not a lot of changing going on. Different
Yeah.
uses, but not a lot of changing. It's more like this is a really efficient couch,
Mm-hmm.
right? Top of chest lifts up to a desk. Oh, I gotcha. It's a chest and it's a desk. Think of a third one. Tabletop sofa, table shelving. Are we looking at the side view?
Yeah, so that's a side view.
Gotcha. Oh, so it can become a chair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I didn't know how to write inside. Obviously, there wasn't going to be, a hinge bringing it down, but like something like.
Yeah. Could be as simple as like it levers into place at the top and you just pop it off and then lever it back down too. It's, again, that's what iteration in design, iteration in engineering is for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a sofa table is like a coffee table or side table?
It's like a.
How tall?
Side table.
Okay, side table. So it'll be like the top of it would be about here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then your chair would be about there. Yeah. That's two. So
Yeah.
think about what your third is. All right. Pick the 6 that you want to finish out. Okay. I think your strongest ones. I think this accordion table is one of your strongest. Number 8. Number 5. And number 1 are your strongest.
Okay.
Okay? And then pick 3 others and flesh all of them out. Make sure you have your 3 state changes. So it has 3 distinct uses. Okay. Cool. All right. Oops. 235 points for that one. Emily, we'll do yours and then I think we'll be done here. Okay. So when you pull your mirror out, where does the mirror part go? Is it like fold? Is it like a reflective cloth?
That's what I was thinking. Like, anything that like went up.
Right. I mean, it doesn't matter if it exists, right? That's fine. That's the thing about this is you can propose something and then you can be like, well, I don't know if this material actually exists right now, but whatever. I mean, mylar is highly reflective, right? And is a fabric, so why not? The coat rack part of it can open up into a fan. Okay, so that it can be a fan, a coat rack, and a mirror. Cool. Yeah, those are some distinct state changes. You guys and fans, is it just because it's been hot lately? Been on your mind. Bedside table chest, small desk pulls up to reach bed. So can the desktop like move then slightly? Oh, okay. Yeah. It might not work exactly as you have it drawn, so think about that a little bit more. Like, how best would that, in order to get the most reach out of that and have it be, because usually you think about like that in hospitals, right? They'll have that tray that can kind of slide up and be your tray, right? It's an L shape, and then on a platform. That L shape is so that it can slide over and be braced and useful, reach you, right? So how would you take the top of your nightstand and make it an L shape and then how it slides over, you know? Do you want it to be really adjustable so you can adjust the height of it, which would be fairly useful? I don't care how that actually works. I just want to see you illustrate that you're thinking about it. These mirror pullouts. Shelf. Mirror shut over the shelves to make a closed cabinet. Oh, okay. Oh, so like hinges? Okay. Bookshelf. So the mirror doesn't necessarily pull out, it just sort of like hinges open, right?
Like to get the food, like, an outlet from that.
Oh. Okay. Okay. So instead of specifying bookshelf, maybe think of it in terms of like clothes storage too, or just storage in general. I don't know how often I need to look at myself when I'm buying a book. Maybe you guys are different. I don't know. I don't have to check my hair, so maybe that's part of it. But I like that idea of it. That mirror can tuck all the way away and not even be seen, and then you can have stuff in it, or it can be the door. So yeah, having it slide out and then come up to the front on some elaborate magical system, that works. So bookshelf, mirror, cabinet. Bench back for a table. Oh, it can be a table, a bench back for a seat. Pulls out to be a daybed. Okay, so it's a couch, it's a table, it's a bed. Yeah. Fan. So it's a standing shelf. Gotcha. Flaps, panels fit together. Oh, interesting. I really like this idea. I want to see you illustrate it in a little bit more of a way that makes me believe this could actually happen. I'm fine with, coming up with this crazy idea and then saying, engineers can figure it out. I love doing that to engineers. But at the same time, it can't just be like sprinkle magic dust on it and have it work, right? So you should, because I guess the reason I say that is the actual mechanical constraints of construction can really help feed design. Anything that tells you can't do something gets you to be creative about doing it. Does that make sense? So constraints are really, really useful. They're frustrating and annoying, but they're also really useful. Oh, I was hoping this was going to fold into a fan too. Folding camping chair with footrest. Folds into an umbrella. Love the idea. Show me how that would actually work. Can turn into a cot by folding back down. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I like this idea. That's going to be a really bright lamp. I guess it could have different settings to be a projector as well, right?
It's for the outdoor.
Yeah. It's got to hook up to something to project, right? Maybe it's AirPlay. I don't know. It's got a little computer in it. But then you're also including a torch, like actual fire torch. What? I mean, just asking. I mean, I'm not saying no. I'm just asking. So it's also a tiki torch. Gotcha.
You'll only be able to use it at night, I'm assuming.
Probably.
Right.
I mean, you can use a tiki torch anytime, right? Yeah, and that's another thing to think about, guys. Maybe your stuff has a specific use for a specific time of day. That's actually a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
That's what I was going for.
I taught this class for like 6 years and I hadn't thought of that. Maybe it's got a day use, maybe it's got a night use, maybe it's got a use for dawn or dusk, right? Sorry I'm burning through these. We have like 10 minutes left. Oh, we need to start cleaning actually. Storage or set can come apart, separate containers. Okay. All right, this sort of thing does kind of exist already. Maybe not to the scale you're thinking of, but I have a whole bunch of little containers that can pop together to be like one big container, and then or I can stack. So I can either stack them or do them wide. Step stool, table. Okay. Not as strong as some of your other ones. Let's look at your last ones here. Longer love seat. Okay. Oh, can fold up into like an ottoman? Is that what you're thinking? Okay. Does it then kind of go down a little bit? Because ottomans are usually a little low. Just be tall. Floating wall pulls out, slides down. Oh, side table. Sure. Oh, that's an interesting idea. More illustrations on how this would actually work, if you wanted to do that idea. Daybed, remove legs to make a pool floaty. Yes. Especially if it has like an extendable like dragon head or giraffe head or something, or a flamingo. Like if you can build that in there, like it's inflatable and tucks away into a little pocket, and you push a button, it just goes like that, right? Yeah, perfect. Great. I really like that idea. Okay, you have some solid ones for sure. You just need to illustrate the transformations or the structure and how the structure and the design indicates the transformation. I'm not saying it has to have all the gears and pulleys and whatever, but especially for something like the floating shelves where that minimalism and simplicity is kind of inherent to the design, still kind of want to see how that might work. All right, so illustrate how it would work. Even if it's hidden, show me some illustrations. So pick 6 that you like. You definitely have some stronger ones that are stronger than others. But I think pretty much all of these would be decent. Okay, cool. Any questions? All right, great. Okay, let's stop there.